Good day everyone, Dr. Blob here, and here we are once more in Arknights Top 10 EN Voices, Volume 11. I am leaving the old batch counter behind, since I don't follow actual batch releases that well. We don't want to get confused with those properly recording the EN voice releases. Other than that, same as always. A list where I rank the voice works delivered in the game, based not on how well they sound or how similar they are to the original voice, but rather how much I can feel of them in their voice. But sadly, before we start, I'm afraid one thing has made a return from previous videos, the Untuned category, albeit just as a mention, as there is only one this time around, and hopefully the only one for a while. So, without further ado, we begin with...
Doctor of Rhodes Island. I hope you fully understand that any extraneous information you provide to me will influence my evaluation of our cooperation. Of course, you can also use this as leverage in your negotiations. That's true. I took over the gemstone trading post when I was 15. For 300 years since the day the first set of scales went up, the one who stands behind the counter has never been important, much less his age. Visitors need only see order. Are you perhaps questioning my abilities? Are you reading my medical report? Pardon me if this is inappropriate. It's true that I often injure myself with no rhyme or reason. Some say it's because of a family curse, and my life will be as short as the previous overseer. Still, I live to see those gemstones returned, and that is more than long enough. Trading necessitates weighing your bargaining chips, as well as the human heart. After a few rounds of back and forth, I already have a good picture of the other party's heart. I feel honored to be able to partner with Rhodes Island. But what do you perceive when you see me? If you believe this heart will one day grow wings, I shall want for nothing more. My apologies. It's been an exhausting journey. To think I fell asleep. Hold on, you needn't have someone take me to the lounge. You were inspecting the cargo manifest, I had nothing to do, and so... You want to tell a story to relax? Something about snow? Huh, very well. Come here, little cutie. Get this can of me to try. You'll love it. That's right. No, it's not right. Doctor, since when have you been here? I'm afraid I shouldn't be taking care of your operator's companions. Could you please help get this slumberfoot away from me? Your company's engineering department is very interested in my clockwork foul beast, and so I made a batch without surveillance functions. This one's for you. A hobby of mine? Hardly. It's a traditional craft in my family. There was a time when our work was unrelated to gemstones. I used this set of counting rods for accounting. It's a gemstone trading tradition dating back several centuries. You merely set it down like this, then... I could show you how to use it, but I normally set it down just to let visitors know I'm busy. Besides, it's faster to use a calculator. Do you have any thoughts on my electric head bobbing cloud beast figurine? Doctor, remember to wear some more clothing. My apologies. In the desert, the temperature can vary wildly between day and night. This is our customary greeting to visitors.
This voice is nice, and honestly, I see it fitting his face far more than the original. Having said that, it completely left behind his grandeur and neutral way of talking, which are key part of his character. If anything, this sounds like a younger courier. I think what happened here is the same as happened with Dorothy. They focused on a single aspect of a character. In this case, him being a merchant. Sad part is, you can hear some lines where he actually makes use of Sand Reckoner's more serious and neutral way of talking, but only sporadically. If anything, this seems to be not so much a problem with Ashton Leon Frank, and more of miscommunication with the direction, and thus I hope this gets solved in due time. Mr. Frank has a good voice, and would love to hear him again in the future, but for now I am sad to grant him the first untuned mention of this list.
Sort the paperwork for the other departments. Check. Water the plants. Done. Ba-ba-ba. Oh, Doctor, here's the water you wanted. I've also asked the cafeteria to make you a snack. I've done my homework with help from the other operators. Nothing'll go wrong on my watch. When I was searching for my ancestors' soul fragments in Castel, Ermi gave me this cube to hold them. Now I use it to store oversized luggage. I really want to know how it works. But Lich technology is way too complicated. Even if I could take a peek into Ermi's soul, I doubt I'd understand it. Ooh, I'll put this money to good use. Oh, hello, Doctor. It's a little reward for helping out my friends. Completely legit and very common practice. What did I do, you ask? Finding their lost pets, organizing their thoughts, and other stuff like that. Nothing special. DI can penetrate one's psyche, which is why they call us the Heart Whippers. But we must also remember to whip our own hearts. By that, I mean self-restraint. Legend tells of DI whose obsession with the mind drove them to insanity. The King of Sarkaz had to finish them off. Of course, it's not like I witnessed it myself. Anyway, as long as I stay on the right track, everything will be fine. It's so clean here. With a few simple touches, I can definitely make it a comfy little home. There's no key to that lock at the bottom of your heart? Don't worry. I'll find it for you. Put your thoughts to rest, Doctor.
An interesting interpretation. Not different, yet neither the same. You can feel both versions being gentle and kind, but while the JP boys went for a more childish approach, Anna Devlin went for something more akin to a curious but good-mannered young woman, both exploring how Nymph managed to be so kind-hearted despite the constant violence around her, though there are still those moments where you can hear Nymph acting her age. Nothing more to say, but the VA's name is quite fitting.
The topography in the wild may be treacherous, but Castle 3 is fitted with an engine with outstanding performance and a four-wheel drive mode to whisk you away from danger. Castle 3's official manager is Master Closure, but please understand that you are even more important to Castle 3 than Master is, in most cases. I am your devoted, trustworthy battle companion. Is there anything Castle 3 can help with? Doctor, would you like to grab a drink together? I might not be able to actually have a drink, but I can still treat you to one. It is fine. Master Closure will pay. Lovely weather today, Doctor. Castle 3 is honored to be at your side. Doctor, should you require me to strike down your foes, I shall go through heaven and hell to see it done. Doctor, if your life is ever in danger, just summon Castle 3. Castle 3 was created specifically for combat purposes. I am a top-class defensive war-fighting robot.
Just as I was surprised with Best Boy sounding like an old radio broadcaster, Castle 3 sounding like a friendly waiter is surprisingly fitting for his personality. Programming. He will do what you told him to do and then some, going beyond his programming if he has to, and then asking how good was his performance, all in order to provide the best service possible. Christian Bananas did a terrific interpretation, and a wonderful addition to Rod's mechanical division.
Every time I bask in the sun, I can't help but get a bit sleepy. But don't worry, I'm on guard, keeping you safe. I won't fall asleep. I have standards in my line of work. Don't harm the innocent, don't get bystanders involved. To be honest, it's hard to stick to them. She who wields a blade will always look to duel, and she who takes a life will eventually become a notch on the blade of another. Maybe one day I'll meet an end like that. When that happens, Doctor, I hope you'll be there to witness it. My sunny spot. Ah, so warm. Wanna go sunbathing together? Oh, you're here, Doctor. Got any work today?
Detach. Not so much as Gladia, who does it intentionally, or Vendela, who is too emotionally detached to notice herself. Cutter just doesn't have people skills. She knows this, yet doesn't seem to mind. That's the mentality of someone with a lifetime as a mercenary. But at the same time, we can see glimpses of her more emotional self in some points, like her interest in cooking, as atrocious as they are, or how she's hoping someone to be there during her final moments. Simple yet brilliant interpretation by Kristen Lee of the once called best 4 stars in the game.
Doctor, there's no fresh information from Ager on the sketchboard. These wavy lines and small squares are just my thought process. As for what they mean exactly, it's very hard to explain. If this part means signal strength, you can read it? Unfortunately, I didn't manage to become an abyssal hunter, but that's not the only way Ager fights the Seaborn. We have the Hunters, the Waterway, and many more in the future. My current position dictates I no longer be affiliated with any projects, but that does not imply my duties are lighter, even in the slightest. The Abyssal Hunters have returned, surprisingly, and the Waterway has been opened somehow. Those are certainly not what I expected as Watchmen, but they are gratifying enough. Doctor, I stand here now watching over you as well, and look forward to seeing how you'll transform this war. I still have Sea Patrol work to deal with, so I can't always be at Rhodes Island. If you need anything from me, raise a request, and I'll get to it promptly. If you really want to know how I think while writing shorthand, I can explain it to you. Reporting in, Doctor.
Stoic and to the point, yet with underlying curiosity. Not to mention a certain amount of non-intentional arrogance, yet still managing to sound elegant and cooperative. Coming out not as malicious, but like a NASA scientist trying to explain simple chemistry to a peasant from the Middle Ages. Acting as someone from a completely different time period than ours requires some talent, which Casley Jeffer brought forth perfectly, landing the fish the 7th spot of the list. And speaking of fish,
Please leave for now. Any disruption during my work hours is not permitted. Should there be any offense, I appreciate your understanding. The language I use is overly polite? I'm still getting acquainted with the language used on the land, but besides, in my humble opinion, it would not be in your best interest to see me being impolite. Do you like to sing? What about dancing? Would you like to dance with me? It doesn't matter if you don't know the steps. I will teach you. Poetry, art, music. You must never forget these things. They are proof that all humans once lived beneath the starry night sky. Through these arts, and upheld by us, humans become eternal. Come, let's dance. Do you think we can form an alliance? We may not even be counted as the same species. Calcit is far older than me. The burden she carries is beyond anyone's imagination. But it is also a burden you must face one day. You must get stronger. Strong enough to fear no loss. I will watch you, by your side. I appreciate the sentiment, but I'm perhaps more comfortable staying in my own little, cramped dwelling. Best be careful. By nature, my kind are all monsters. Greetings, Doctor.
once more, a great performance by Ashley Harrat. Here we can tell how Gladia uses courteous yet direct sentences to keep others away, both physically and emotionally. Unlike Wonderflow before her though, Gladia does have some hints of arrogance and downright annoyance when dealing with individuals she clearly sees as beneath her. But surprisingly, she also managed to do so while not sounding malicious. More like a human kindly referring to an ape. We might be related, but clearly our intellects are eons apart, and for Gladia, most people are as such. Thus she will kindly keep them a lance away, sliding right into the 6th spot of the list.
Tabletop, 60 points. Floor, 63 points. Air quality, 56 points. There's room for improvement, Doctor. Mother, no matter where you are, please watch over me. Thanks for always taking care of us medics. I feel so much less anxiety while working, and I'm very happy. Of course, there are troublesome things to deal with as well. For example, when Blaze comes back, her body is always covered in blood, each and every time. Does she know how hard it is to clean up those bodily fluids? The word Ursus only gives me pain. I don't want to hear it. Not again for the rest of my life. But it's giant. Its voice deafening. And I'm the only one it's going to drive mad. Thank you for your acknowledgement. I am simply doing what I should. Inspection complete. This area is habitable. Huh? Sometimes the things I say to you can be a bit... excessive. But you should also recognize that you have your shortcomings, alright? You've been working hard.
At first I was conflicted, since she doesn't sound like the mongoose we know and love. Instead of the anger-prone harsh medic we have seen, we got a soft-spoken, almost monotone doctor. However, there are lines showing this original part of her, making me wonder why she's sounding as if she's trying to stay in control. Then it hit me. This is Skyly Davenport, trying to imitate Calcit's candor, which makes a lot of sense considering she's supposed to be her student. That was never explored in the original voice work, yet here it is, front and center. Something so little makes the relationship between these two women all the more noticeable. Not to mention, her absolute hatred for Ursus is also explored as well, leaving very little to the imagination regarding how she feels about the motherland. This voice portrayed the original pharmacist to perfection. If she's this low though, it's mostly because I think Miss Davenport could have unleashed her anger a bit more.
Doctor, archiving and categorizing documents is my specialty. Rest assured, I will put the files you need precisely where you want them. I still remember how Pepe and Titi would come by and play with me when we were kids. Even when Father had me grounded in the study, they'd stand outside the window and make animals with their hands. They were so animated. We haven't seen each other so much since we grew up. But when I look out my window, I sometimes think of those times. Doctor, truth be told, I've spent most of my life following Father's plans, from my education to my career. He did pick a path that's been fairly easy for me, so I have nothing to complain about, and the idea of leaving home never truly crossed my mind. Huia hui seteputi siangmecha. My favorite exhibit? I couldn't choose. What does my heart say? Okay. There is an ancient seed. It was sealed away in darkness for centuries, yet it persevered and quickly blossomed with just a little care. Ma yadet biat. I am only doing my job. It's nothing worth mentioning. Oh, Doctor, please let me explain. I didn't bring all these books here for leisure. I just prefer to rest my head on a stack of books during lunch. Like so. It's surprisingly comfy. Doctor, could you please pinch my ear? When I get anxious, my friends comfort me like that. Doctor, when will your next trip be? Would you mind if I went with you?
Obligatory Undertale jokes aside, this is a great interpretation. You are able to feel how sheltered her life has been, as she's clearly afraid of most things unknown. However, Molly Harris managed to pull this out without going overboard and turn her into a scaredy cat. Nothing bad with that, but we already have one, which we love very much. You can tell how her enthusiasm to learn and experience new things is slowly surfacing, almost as if she's one push away to become a completely new person. I am not saying Blaze's level of unhinged, but definitely someone who will properly experience life beyond her books. If there is someone worthy of getting an altar by virtue of pure potential, I will place Papyrus very high on that list. But for now, she stays as number 4 of this list.
Drink this before you start working. Bien. That medication will keep you up as long as it's in your system. I trust you'll stay focused, won't you? La separación y análisis de la muestra casi están listos. El siguiente paso es su purificación. Su actual efecto requiere de más pruebas. Why are you staring at my hair, Doctor? It's frazzled? Don't worry about it. Wouldn't be the first time my experiment has failed, or the second. If you're not a follower of the Lateran religion, it is best not to go to Iberia. Their so-called purist faith is rooted in that land. The people there are so pious, even the Laterans feel ashamed among them. As for me, none of that concerns me in the slightest. I need to unwind a bit more when I'm resting, you say? Empty your thoughts and just enjoy the sun and the breeze. I suppose it is nice to give it a try every now and then. Come, Doc. The breeze up here reminds me of my hometown. Neutralize the opponent's actions swiftly and efficiently, then secure victory at minimal cost. I think I fully understand your orders. In that case, I'll use this paralytic neurotoxin in tandem with my attacks. I take it that you have no issue with this? How are the protective measures here? Maldita sea, the potion's going to spill. My hair? Oh, I just combed it. Why is it all ruffled up again? You seem tired. Would you like a pick-me-up, Doctor?
The feeling of intelligence and aloofness are there in equal amount, but with a healthy dose of silly carelessness. Not to mention that they finally managed to get a proper Spanish speaker. Obligatory accents are not included in the analysis. While simple, you can tell that Javier Bañas understood the character quite well. Carefree, but not lazy. Determined, but not focused. Aloof, but not distant. These are very hard traits to balance. Yet here we can hear Thorns in all of his unassuming glory, aterrizando así en el tercer puesto.
What? More work? But I came to Rhodes Island for a good holiday. Alright, if it's simply sorting files, I'm okay with that, I guess. But tell me, Doctor, what's my per diem? The bandages on my digits? Just for style. Funny story. A few days ago, I taught a bunch of nitpicking punks a lesson at the market. A vendor saw these bandages and thought I got hurt in the scuffle, so he gave me a few more green onions as a thank you gift. There's blood seeping out. No worries. That's just beetroot juice. We call brown bread soft brick, and coats plaster. What about sausages? What about 'em? Just sausages. Why? I mean, why give something you only get to eat once every few years a moniker? There's not much to the Casdelian street slang, really. Just hang around a local construction site, and you'll learn everything you need to know. Yo, you still need those coupons? Oh, let me have 'em if you're gonna throw 'em out. I'm so close to getting a free barbecue. Nope, I read the rules. What they say is only one coupon per purchase. So it's fine if I settle the bill after each free dish. Tell you what, I also have a 50% off coupon for 2. So, if you don't tell Closure my plan, I'll take you for some roast beef tonight. Big place. Wonder how the food tastes. Fruit's half off today. You can even buy it with points. Shh! Go get yours quick and don't tell anyone. Doctor, how was your break? Me, I'm still a little tired. Careful now. You might prick your fingers.
How many of you know about Cantinflas? A character immortalized by the renowned actor Mario Moreno. Cantinflas is a gentleman from the streets who uses elusive words and comedic antics to make a way in life, yet never acting out of malice or selfishness. Now, what does this has to do with Mythm? Well, because while I hear him, all I see is Castell's version of Everyone's Amigo. That was his title worldwide, look it up. Mythm is an individual who have lived on the streets of Castell all his life. Unlike Nymph, he somehow managed to avoid becoming a bloodthirsty mercenary. But neither did he turn into an idealist like Nymph. He knows the dangers of the streets and that there are unsavory individuals in every corner. And yet, he still hopes for things to change. Not only for him, but for everyone in Castell. Shash Hira managed to portray Mythm as a slum gentleman to perfection. You can tell this guy has street smart and yet also a big heart. He might be raw around the edges, but his determination is top notch. A great interpretation of an informant in its own right. And the second place on this list. And while he lost the first spot, I will admit he has my favorite way of pronouncing the game's title.
Arknights.
Files all sorted. Relax. Not everything spills its secrets, and not everything merits recording. A document left to a Maylander detective, well, that must be one not worthy of doctoring. Are those kids still following me? Fine. Let them believe the Colombian fairy tale is real. My exoskeleton sure grabs attention, and man, does it need regular maintenance. But I'm just too lazy to keep replacing it. Well, that's the force of habit. Even a tin can gets used to its dents. W brought a swathe of drastic reforms. Nasties aiming for a city floating above the clouds. You gotta admit, the Sarkaz vision for the future never disappoints. Me? Well, I'm just an average Joe working for the Foundation. Investing in the next generation is where it's at. I like the top deck of Rhodes Island. It's got a great view. Too bad I didn't have a ship like this, or friends like yours when I was scavenging all those years ago. But I did meet Maylander Saline, and we roamed that wilderness together. Good. I'll get the newspapers and make us hot dogs with some nachos. Hats off to fast food for keeping us pioneering without even a moment's rest. Great invention, don't you think? Thanks. It's tough for people like you and me to trust. I know. Pretty nice room. Maybe, once I get used to it, I'll turn it into my new body. Just kidding. Hey, what do you think happens when a human touches scorching hot metal? You didn't spot me pulling smoke rings back into my body through the gaps, did you? Got a light, Doctor? Arknights.
Two funny things about this voice work. One, I almost missed it. as IS is still the bane of my existence. Luckily, I got me an atomic cockroach to help me out. And 2, I didn't like it at first, as it sounded a bit young. But the more I heard, the more I noticed how well Gerard Tyler understood the character. Also, he is not as young as I thought. I can only hope to sound as great as him once I reach his age. Not only can you feel the centuries of experience, but also his hopes for the future. A man who has seen so many atrocities throughout history, have said goodbye to so many people due to conflicts, has done his fair share of sad things, and yet he finds the possibilities of the future the most fascinating thing ever. If you read his voice lines, you will see very few lines actually aligned with what he's saying. Either the translator and scriptwriter got confused, which I think could be the case as many characters released this year shared this phenomenon, or Mr. Tyler managed to portray the Tin Man in a way not even the writers planned for, going beyond what was in paper. To portray an individual so close to infinity and still managing to play it as a regular man is extraordinary in itself, granting Tin Man the first place of this list. If we ever have to replace Cal from the yearly Terra report, I would like none other than the old Codger himself. And that's the list. What do you think? Do you agree with these placings? Or do you like one voice over another? Be sure to share your commentaries down below, as well as to like this video and subscribe if you haven't. Good for the algorithm and all that. This has been Dr. Blob, thanking you for your time, wishing you all had a great time, and as always, stay healthy everyone.